back with the flashback, but he's just played 3 Thragtusk. That's all he's done. And Mike isn't able to chase it down with his more, I guess what you would classify as unfair draw of like Invisible Stalker, suited up, you know, beat you down.
Yeah, you're really seeing the dichotomy between, you know, playing just cards that are very powerful versus Mike, who's leaning, you know, on a lot of synergy. And his deck doesn't mulligan that well because he does get into these spots where, you know, he just gets stuck. He actually just has to produce. And, you know, his cards, when they're combined together, can be powerful, but he didn't get enough of them in this game. You know, he's definitely got 2 more lands than he really ever wants to draw. Already just sitting in play. Now he has to pass. That's the death knell for any banned hexproof player when they have to pass the turn with untapped creatures.
That's like submitting to the ankle lock. Yep. It's never pretty.
It's not good.
So Restoration Angel is going to come in, blink Thragtusk, Beast Token in, 3 power in the air in as well. So you saw Andrew was adding, you know, he was consistently adding 5 power to his board by bringing back Thragtusk. This allows him to add 6 with Restoration Angel and the Beast Token. And he's going to come across here yet again because there's no reason not to. 3 Thragtusk. Even the Pilgrims look like they might even want to play too.
I don't see a reason to not ship everything. I could do the math and maybe figure out if it matters, but I don't think it does. And I think like the fact that the 3 Pilgrims combined with any 3 power creature getting through definitely kill him. So.
And so Mike Flores is going to concede the game. So Andrew does win game number 1 with Junk Reanimator over Bant Hexproof. In a game that, you know, looking at it from turn 3, you'd think Mike would have been a huge favorite there, but he wasn't able to find any more things to suit up, and then ends up just losing the game. And I think even a card like Simic Charm there, which he has a couple copies of, wouldn't have saved him either.
Yeah, I think he really needed another enchantment to actually get it. I think the life he would have gained would have mattered a lot.
Yeah,
you know, getting an extra like 6 life on that turn could have been a huge deal. So yeah, it was definitely tight. Mike just, you know, only had 4 spells. That was really what it boiled down to.
There's one way you can look at it. So we'll take a look at Mike's sideboard here. 2 copies of Feeling of Dread, 3 Ground Seal, 2 Negate, 1 Nevermore, 3 Nearhearth Pilgrim, and 4 Strangerroot, guys. First one that jumps out to me, of course, is Ground Seal. But once you move past that, you know, what card, if any, is there one that you want to bring in here?
I could see bringing in a Feeling of Dread. I don't think I would want both, though. That's just me. I like having access to that kind of effect, and Simic Charm's not really that great in this matchup. So I would be looking to cut those, and Feeling of Dread can kind of duplicate a lot of the things Simic Charm could do in the first place.
Okay.
Also, like, I'm not super excited about Voice of Resurgence in the matchup, or Lockstone Smiter. They both get trumped by Thragtusk. I think if I was choosing, I would take out Smiter first.
Okay.
Because, you know, Voice, as we said already, you know, can function in that chump blocker capacity, and he's just cheaper.
Okay.
So, like, having a cheaper threat you can play on turn 2 to actually get in some damage, maybe, a little more relevant.
Would you rather have Voice or Strangerroot, guys?
I think I would rather have Voice.
Okay.
I can realistically see the token getting, you know, bigger than a 3/2. That's not that uncommon, and it also can lock out Reanimator from doing some of its Restoration Angel shenanigans, right?
Okay, that's true. I mean, another card to look at here is Nearhearth Pilgrim, where, you know, just gaining life in racing might be, you know, the play of the day. And this allows you to facilitate that more if you're just racing back and forth, which is what that game looked like. Yeah. And if Mike was able to draw, you know, another enchantment, wouldn't be able to keep doing that. But maybe you don't need that much redundancy. It is a 2/1 that's probably never going to get to attack. So it's basically like an enchantment.
Yeah, and keep in mind, you can't get lifelink twice.
True.
So if you Unflinching Courage your creature and you bond it with a Nearheath Pilgrim, that's just nothing.
Yeah, you don't get to double up.
So in that game, for example, say we just gave Mike a free Nearheath Pilgrim, the best he really could have done was attack with a Geist and give the Angel token lifelink, and then his Geist would have died in combat. So, you know, a War Leader's Helix, if you like a 2-card combo to pull a War Leader's Helix and a Goblin Piker is not the best.
Probably not the best, no. So that's what Mike's looking at. How about on Andrew's side?
Andrew's got an interesting side. He's got 2 of many cards and then 3 Acidic Slimes. As far as the cards he'll bring in, I think we'll see Abrupt Decays come in. I'm way more interested in those than Acidic Slimes because you can use it to actually, you know, mess up Mike's combat step. As we saw in that game, you know, we discussed what if Mike has a Spectral Flight, he could just flight up that Geist, get in for 8. That would reverse that race in a big way.
Yep.
But, you know, if Andrew has something like Abrupt Decay in that spot, he can actually just, you know, take that Geist right out of the sky, block it, no shenanigans afoot. So I'm definitely interested in Abrupt Decay. Also does double duty in killing Ground Seal, of course.
Okay.
Beyond that, he has access to Voices of his own, Tragic Slips, and Garruk Relentless as cards that seem relevant. The remainder of the sideboard is filled out with Obstinate, Sin Collector, and the Acidic Slimes, as we mentioned already. I'm not really excited about any of them. I guess I could see Voice as it's, you know, kind of a clock, but I don't think so. Like, I don't think I'd want it.
I want Acidic Slime.
You want Acidic Slime?
I do.
I
You saw that game. Michael and drew 2 enchantments.
I get it.
Gotta kill him.
What are you gonna cut at? What are you gonna cut?
All right. Well, let's start with let's take a look at Fiend Hunter.
Sure.
Not all that impressed by him.
I agree. We should cut those.
Creative Behemoth, I think you want to leave in as like kind of a miser's get lucky card. I don't love Lingering Souls against a deck that has Unflinching Courage and Rancor.
I mean, at the same time, you know, if they don't have one of those, it can be one of your better cards.
I think you're winning anyway if you don't want if they don't have one of those, right?
I don't know. I'm not a math scientist.
So I would never claim for you to be one of those. But I would think if they haven't drawn one of their 8 good enchantments, that you're probably going to win anyway. I think that it's kind of a... I think you're kind of fortunate if Lingering Souls, like, you're casting it and your opponent's like, ah, God, I can't get through these spirit tokens with my 8 trample effect deck.
I feel like the thing is, if you're bringing in the Acidic Slimes, I would kind of want Lingering Souls, because they complement each other if you're removing the good enchantment. Although, obviously, you can't catch Rancor.
That's true. I understand where you're coming from there. I don't know. I mean, I see a deck that has 16 creature enchantments, and it seems like, I mean, 12 of which you can kill. Rancor obviously doesn't work, but I see that, and I see, you know, Acidic Slime that you can power out on turn 3 or turn 4. To me, that just seems worth it.
I guess it's fine. I mean, obviously, Andrew agrees with you. He brought them in. We can see one in his hand right now.
You know what they say, Glenn. Great minds. They think alike.
Yeah, dumb minds.
Yeah.
Not so similar either.
Yeah. I've never heard that saying before, so can't quote that.
These players off to startlingly similar starts.
So here is Lingering Soul. So, all right, he agrees with me and you.
Yeah.
So I would say great minds think alike again, but
you know,
I'm not going to this time.
I bet he cut Mulch.
Okay.
That's actually a card you really commonly cut in aggressive matchups, and this is definitely an aggressive matchup.
So there's your turn 2 Smiter, turn 3 Smiter, excuse me, into a Breeding Pool, passing the turn back.
And he drew a Mulch.
He drew a Mulch.
I guess we're wrong there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Salvage. It's kind of the same principle, but we're both sure he cut Fiend Hunters. I guess Angel of Serenity is actually. I don't know if we need all 3 of those.
It's pretty bad here, I think.
Yeah, I could see trimming those. That makes a little more sense. I could see cutting like the 3 Fiend Hunters and 1 or 2 Angels maybe.
Yeah.
Bringing in like the 2 Abrupt Decays and 3 Acidic Slimes, and I don't even think you need anything else really.
And flashback Lingering Souls again. 2 more Spirit tokens here.
Next time we should just bring in BB to get his opinion.
Yeah, he knows.
He's right over there playing chess.
Yep.
Against an aged old man, also known as AJ Soccer. Mike, contemplating how best to get in the race here. I think that means he does not have an Unflinching Courage or a Rancor.
That's what it feels like to me too. So in with the big dumb elephant, can't block fast enough. See what the follow-up's going to be.
Probably another Smiter from the looks of it. Maybe a Geist.
You know, this is part of the, as he does play a Geist Saint Draft, this is part of the problem with this deck is that you have no way to control your draw step. And, you know, with the modern version of this deck, you played 8 guys, a couple Dryad Arbors, and your entire deck is enchantments. And, you know, the creatures are, like, impossible to kill because they all have hexproof. But additionally, as you're going to see Ethereal Armor here on the Geist Saint Draft, you know, the enchantments made them hard to kill too because they're all totem armor effects. Yeah. Here you have to play, like, more creatures than you want to. But as a result, like, you get to play less enchantments, so you're going to have some draws where it's just like, oh, it's like a bunch of dudes and no pants, or vice versa.
Well, Andrew just brought in, just drew an Obstinate, so he got a little friskier with the sideboarding than we assumed.
So he's going to take 2, and he can actually cast Obstinate because that is an overgrown team there. So
he can cast Obstinate or Acidic Slime, depending on what he wants to do. It's interesting that Mike went ahead and played this Ethereal Armor. It did expose it to Slime, let his opponent know what was going on with this Geist. Yep. But it also has the added benefit of it protecting Mike's breeding pool. So it's possible Mike, you know, considered that as well.
Slime took care of that Ethereal Armor. Mike gonna untap. Gonna draw. Geist Saint Draft looking much weaker now as well. With no protection, it can't just attack willy-nilly as it would before. Also with Acidic Slime on the table, now Andrew has access to very, very good Restoration Angels.
Yeah, Andrew's pretty far ahead right now. Oh.
2 mana.
Yeah, that might have... It's possible that was a protection play on that breeding pool because Spectral Flight gives Geist the ability to actually, you know, turn this clock around, start racing. It gives him superiority over a variety of things. But as you know, I said when we were talking about that sideboarding, that Spectral Flight snips its wings. Geist could be in trouble.
Yep. It could get very, very ugly if there's a Restoration Angel in combat for Andrew, and you see him looking through his hand a little bit here as Geist is going to come across here with a flight. You're going to see a Lingering Souls token jump in the way. Andrew just protecting his life total right now in a big way. Mike going to follow that up with a Voice of Resurgence and pass the turn back. An in-combat Restoration Angel for Andrew is going to be absolutely devastating if he has it.
Yeah, it is going to give Mike a token though, right?
Yep.
So it's possible Andrew will decide he doesn't want to give him the token and just get rid of it now. But that seems a little, I don't know. I'm not sure which is more valuable, the element of surprise or that token.
And Mike's last card in his hand right now, Glenn, is Simic Charm. So that has the potential to make things a little bit hairy.
Does that give permanence you control hexproof?
I'm pretty sure it is just a creature you control.
Just a creature? Okay.
But we can bring it up on the screen, because I have been wrong before, and I will be wrong again.
I just want to check. I think you're right, but I wouldn't want to accidentally be wrong.
You see a Mulcher.
I know Boros Charm, for example, gives everything indestructible.
Yeah.
As one unlucky cube player learned when he cast Armageddon this week.
Would that unlucky cube player be you?
No, that would be my opponent.
Okay, so is permanent you control again
It
next
is
group?
permanence. All
That's
right.
a big game.
I'm glad that I checked. That's going to make that in-combat Restoration Angel much worse. But it doesn't look like Andrew's going to wait until combat.
Wow, he's not going to wait. Wow.
That's a dagger for Mike. Amusingly enough, if Mike had not played that Voice of Resurgence, he might have had the result he was looking for with that Simic Charm.
That's insane. I can't believe that he knew to cast it right now. Like, it's very enticing to just want to blow him out in combat with that trick.
Maybe Andrew, unlike us, actually knows what Simic Charm does.
Yeah, that could be a thing. That could be a thing. So Mike is going to untap. He's going to draw. A really crafty play there by Andrew. Just a heads-up play. Not allow him to walk himself into a trap.
It's very tempting to often, you know, wait to cast your flash and instance. It's a really common mistake people make. But, you know, if you're not really gaining much by bluffing it or whatever, then it's often going to be best to just go ahead and play your spell.
Especially when you have the opportunity to ruin someone as badly as you can in combat there. You know, it's hard to really pass up on that. I mean, myself, I would be surprised if I didn't just, you know, I'm licking my lips waiting for Mike to, oh yeah, attack step? Yeah, go ahead. Angel Trigger? Absolutely. Here we go. And it just would not have happened.
Yeah, Mike would have got you good. He would have gotten an elemental token, and he would have gotten to keep all of his things.
Yeah. So an attack here with the Smiter. Acidic Slime looks like it's going to get in the way here. And, you know, this feels like a pretty safe block if you're Andrew with an Unburial Rites in the graveyard.
I actually think that this is an attack that Mike should have made on the previous turn. It's the exact same mistake I made in Vegas when I lost in the top 8 of that match. I did not attack with a Smiter when my opponent played an Acidic Slime when I was mana screwed, and I should have. It was a free 4 damage. There's no way my opponent's going to block because either he has Restoration Angels or he wants to draw them, keep me off my mana. So, under the same logic, Mike should have been fine with the trade on the previous turn, as that would have kept Restoration Angel from changing his board state.
Sure.
So I think Mike missed an attack on the previous turn with the Smiter. And he made up for it here, but you know, the damage might already be done. There is an Unburial Rites. Things are getting hairy.
So now you see Andrew reaching for some of those flyers here. He is at 12 life. He's been using, you know, his spirits to chump block as best he can to protect his life total. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary incremental damage, and now he's going to come across here for 4, still being able to pressure Mike a little bit with those flyers in the air.
He's going to go ahead and Unburial Rites that Slime. Mike's double checking on Acidic Slime. He may be considering Simic Charming to protect his breeding pool, for example.
Yep, that's going to be what he looks like he's doing. Realizes that he really needs the blue mana very badly.
Yeah, he's got a number of blue cards in his deck. Spells that are blue, if you will.
Spectral Flight, Simic Charm, he's got one more copy of that. Invisible Stalker, Geist of St. Traph's, some potential sideboard cards as well.
This is actually a pretty tight race here. Just that? I don't know what that. I guess that isolated chapel was in the graveyard from something. Oh, he gave all of his things indestructible, so a 6/9 has to target.
Yeah, so it has to target something else.
Mike was checking to see if it's a May. Savvy check on Mike's part. He did not use it to counter. He in fact used it to misdirect, as it were.
So Versive Resurgence comes across.
Andrew not interested in that trade.
Yep. You see Andrew draws a Gavney Township here, so that changes everything.
That's a big game changer for Andrew.
And before, as you said, was a pretty close race. This certainly turns it around now because it gives Andrew a lot more closing speed in a game that he was probably setting up Craterhoof Behemoth to be able to finish and one-shot Mike. Now he can definitely, you know, try some other things now with how he wants to go about closing this game. And don't forget, he does still have an Obsidian over there in his hand. As Andrew's going to come across for 4 in the air with that Spirit Token and the Restoration Angel again.
Interesting.
Gonna pass the turn back.
He passes. I think I would have played the Obsidian. Just go ahead and get it down. I'm not sure what we're scared of. Gavney Township is theoretically more damage, but the Obsidian's a lot more resilient. Wouldn't mind just having it in play, and the life that you gain is actually, you know, pretty relevant as well. The only way Mike can kill you is by putting your life total to 0, so an extra 2 life.
Yeah, it certainly can hurt.
Yeah, it's not helpful.
And in that situation, I think, you know, if Andrew does play the Obsidian, he doesn't even blink it out. He just leaves it there to be able to block.
I think that's
anything goes wrong.
Yeah. So really, it just would have consolidated his board position and put him at 12, which is not a bad place to be at all.
Now you see Andrew figuring out how he does want to block for this turn. Looks like Acidic Slime's going to get in front of the Geist Saint Trap Spirit Token in front of maybe the Flyer. So Andrew goes down to 8. Mike plays the Temple Guard and just passes the turn back. Andrew without a Gavney Township activation. A little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I think he got ahead of himself. He's like, I'm about to cast Craterhoof Behemoth. This one's over.
We'll see if it is over.
I mean...
Well, that's a lot of mana. That's a Craterhoof Behemoth.
Oh, there it is. Mike checks the Sun Petal Grove in his hand and concedes.
And does extend the hand, so Andrew Hadam is going to win this match. 2-0 over Mike Flores and his Matt Hexproof deck. Junk Reanimator. Moving on, not the first time we've seen this before.
That's true. Junk Reanimator, you know, taking a matchup generally thought to be bad, flips it around. Obviously, I think game 1 he had like just the perfect draw to, you know, set himself up.